What happened to Terrance Williams is anybody's guess. He was last seen outside this Naples, Florida cemetery on January 11, 2004, with this man, Sheriff's Deputy Steve Calkins.
Investigators say Calkins' story about meeting Terrance Williams here at the cemetery just doesn't add up. At one point, Calkins said he pulled Terrance Williams' car over because it was having problems. But when he called his friend in dispatch, he reported the car had been abandoned. He never let on he'd had any contact with the driver, Terrance Williams.
And it's that version of events that concerned investigators, because just months earlier, they'd heard the same story from Deputy Calkins about another missing man. 23-year-old Felipe Santos vanished October 14, 2003, after Deputy Calkins responded to the scene of a minor accident involving Santos.
On January 12, 2004, 27-year-old Terrance Williams went missing in Naples, Florida. Williams grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and had recently moved to Florida to be near his mother. He had 4 children. Williams' roommate, Jason Gonzalez, spoke to Terrance on the phone on the evening of Sunday, January the 11th, before heading to bed. Williams had attended a party that evening at a co-worker's house. He did not then have a valid driver's license after being cited for driving under the influence, and the registration on his vehicle was expired. He decided to drive to the party illegally after being unable to find a ride. Gonzalez became concerned when his roommate did not return home and emailed Williams' mother on January the 13th about his concerns. The Williams family called police and filed a missing persons report. Shortly afterwards, Williams' aunt was able to track down his vehicle. It had been towed from Naples Memorial Cemetery. The tow records show that a tow was requested because Williams' Cadillac was obstructing traffic. The tow report was signed by a sheriff's deputy named Steve Calkins. The family contacted the police station and discovered that Calkins had filed neither an incident report nor an arrest. Marcia Williams, Terrance's mother, contacted workers at the cemetery who told her they had witnessed Calkins pull Williams over and ask him for identification, which he did not have. Employees stated that Calkins patted Williams down and put him in the back of his patrol car. Before driving off with Williams, Calkins then asked the cemetery employees if he could leave the Cadillac in the lot. Calkins was witnessed returning to the cemetery between 15 minutes and an hour later and moving the Cadillac from a parking spot to the side of the road. The keys were found on the ground beside the car. Following the witness statements by the cemetery employees, the Williams family repeatedly called the police station asking to speak with Deputy Calkins. He was contacted by dispatch and asked about the incident. Calkins claims to have no memory of having any cars towed on that day and claimed he did not arrest anyone.
You towed a car from Vanderbilt on 111th Monday, a Cadillac. You remember it?
No.
Do you remember? She said it was near the cemetery.
Cemetery.
Any of the people at the cemetery are telling her you put somebody in the back of your vehicle and arrested them, and I don't show you arresting anybody.
I never arrested nobody.
He was contacted later and claimed to have somewhat better recollection of his contact with Williams. A few days later, Calkins' supervisor asked him to submit an incident report. Calkins' report states that he first came in contact with Williams at 12:15 p.m. after noticing that the car Williams was driving was in distress. Calkins claimed he followed Williams to the cemetery parking lot and that Williams asked for a ride to a nearby Circle K because he was late for work. Williams did not work at the Circle K. According to Calkins, after dropping him off at the Circle K, Williams told him the paperwork for his car was in the vehicle's glove compartment. Calkins claimed that he returned to the Cadillac and discovered that the proper registration was not in the car and that he felt deceived. So he called Circle K from his work-issued cell phone and asked to speak to Williams. The clerk allegedly told him over the phone that Williams did not work there. According to the report, Calkins then called in the license plate number and found that the plates were expired. However, further investigation reveals that Calkins did not place these calls. Not only that, but there was no sign of Williams or Calkins on surveillance footage from the Circle K, and the phone records from Calkins' cell phone showed no call to the convenience store. Circle K employees were later interviewed, and no witnesses could be found to place Calkins or Williams there. At this point, Marcia Williams filed a complaint against Officer Calkins. A new lead in the case surfaced when Mexican consulate in Miami contacted Marcia Williams to tell her about another man who had vanished in a similar fashion. Mexican immigrant Felipe Santos had gone missing 3 months prior after Deputy Calkins claimed, unbelievably, he dropped him off at another Circle K approximately 4 miles from the location he claimed he dropped off Williams. That brings us to Felipe Santos. He was a 24-year-old Mexican national living illegally in the United States and nearby Immokalee, Florida. He had been living in the United States for 3 years at the time of his disappearance and sending money back to his family in Mexico. He was last seen October the 1st, 2003 at approximately 6:30 a.m. Santos was driving to work with his 2 brothers when he was involved in a minor motor vehicle accident in Naples. Collier County Sheriff's Deputy Steve Calkins cited Santos for reckless driving and driving without a license or insurance and placed him in his patrol car. Santos was last seen riding away with Calkins. Later that day, Santos' boss contacted county jail to post bail, and it was discovered that Santos was never booked. Calkins claimed that he changed his mind about the arrest after Santos was polite and cooperative, left him at the local Circle K, and drove off. The other driver in the accident contradicted that report, stating that Calkins was agitated about Santos' lack of documentation. He just stated that he was tired of pulling over those that didn't have licenses, she said. 2 weeks later, after Calkins submitted his incident report, Santos' family filed a missing persons report as well as a complaint against Officer Calkins. An investigation cleared Calkins of any wrongdoing. Santos has not been heard from since. Santos' wife has questioned the quality of the investigation into her husband's disappearance, citing the fact that she has not been interviewed by investigators. Further suspicion was cast on Calkins when the recording of his call to dispatch requesting the tow of Williams' car revealed further conflicting statements. In this recording, Calkins described the car as abandoned and blocking the road. This statement contradicted both his incident report and the witness statements, both of which reported that Calkins himself moved the vehicle to its location, blocking the road. Calkins joked with the operator, maybe he's out there in the cemetery. He'll come back and his car will be gone. He was also heard using inappropriate language during the call as well, describing the car as a homie Cadillac.
I got a homie Cadillac on the side of the road here. Signal 11, signal 52, nobody around. Maybe he's out there in the cemetery. He'll come back and his car will be gone.
Calkins defended his misstatements to the operator, telling investigators that he was just joking around with a friend. He insisted he moved the car to assist the towing company as opposed to attempting to make it look abandoned. Approximately 20 minutes later, at 1:12 p.m., Calkins requested a background check on Terrance Williams, giving an inaccurate birth date, a specific date that Williams had previously given the police when he was arrested. This contradicts Calkins' earlier statements that he never knew Williams' last name or any other personal details.
Last name? Williams. How much spelling? Date of birth? 4/1/75. Black male.
Because of the main person of interest in the case was a police officer, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the FBI were called in to work the case. Various other investigative techniques were used, including the covert placement of a GPS device on Calkins' vehicle, and a forensic investigation of the patrol car. Cadaver dogs were used to survey the areas identified by the GPS, but these turned up no further evidence. Both cases went without any leads for a number of years until 2012, when a number of national programs began covering the case, including Disappeared, The Scumbag Anderson Cooper 360, and Dateline. Entertainment mogul Tyler Perry went on the Al Sharpton's MSNBC talk show to discuss the disappearances and offered a $100,000 reward for information in connection with the cases. Felipe Santos was last seen at the Green Tree Shopping Center at Airport Pulling and Imolki Roads. As stated, he is a Hispanic man who stands 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighs 150 pounds. He has brown eyes and black hair. Terrance Williams was last seen in the area of 111th Avenue North and Vanderbilt Drive. Williams is a black man standing 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighs 160 pounds. He has brown eyes and brown hair. He has a tattoo of the letter T on his left chest. He has another tattoo of E.T. on his right shoulder and a tattoo of Terrance on his left forearm. His front tooth is solid gold, and his right front tooth has a gold crown with a T on it. Someone out there has information concerning the disappearance of these men. I strongly encourage anyone who may have information to contact the Collier County Sheriff's Office at 239-793-9300. Or if you wish to remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-780-8477.
I don't believe that Terrance is alive. At this point, I have to find out what happened to him. If Terrance was alive, Terrance would have had somebody to contact his mother. I know for sure that's one thing that he would do in a heartbeat. Call my mama.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like to chat, make certain to post below. I'd like to hear your thought on this case and the likes of Deputy Calkins. Make certain to like and subscribe, share this video, and make certain to follow us via the standard allotted social sites. Links are located in the description.